Let me tell you about a very unique way how you can reach out to brands no matter how big or small of a social media influencer you are. Now, you've probably seen some of my other videos where I talk about different ways how you can reach out to brands that are more traditional. You know, obviously writing an email, meeting a PR person at an event, reaching out on LinkedIn, and even though a lot of people still don't do those. But today I want to talk about something very interesting. Hi, my name is Alex Guberman with SocialIncomeAcademy.com, and if you are interested in creating a full-time income out of your social media project, whether you're a big YouTuber, a small YouTuber, or a social media influencer, you came to the right place. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about tagging. And I know what you're thinking, Alex, tagging, I do it all the time. But do you? Tagging brands, it's actually it's a very particular thing. And it's not always about tagging the brands, but also how you tag them and what content that you're posting. So let's go over a few kind of basic rules that you need to know in order to do it correctly. Now, first of all, and I probably have seen me say it many times, you know, if you're going after Nike and Adidas or Coca-Cola, don't. You're probably in the wrong niche. That probably means that you did not pick the right niche. I always recommend going 2 niches deep. So if you find yourself that, you know, Nike is a perfect brand for your videos, you probably need to dig a little bit deeper and make your universe of your audience much smaller. But if you figured out which niche you're in and which brands you're looking to reach, this is becoming much easier, right? So instead of reaching, let's say, to Nike, and you're in maybe hiking over 50, my favorite example, making content for those who hike and who are over 50 years old, well, the brands for specific shoes and oxygen tanks and canes and so forth that those brands make, they become much more reachable, and they're also kind of looking for you, right? Because they need you as much as you need them. Okay, so how do you tag them? First of all, I think, and this goes for everybody who ever makes any content, right? You have to have a right content in order to get attention from the brand. If you bought their shoes, if you bought their phone, whatever product or service you bought and used, if you're just going to take an average picture of it, it is not very likely to get their attention when you tag them because there are so many other people doing the same thing, so it's not really a big deal. You got to get a little bit creative, and I really don't want to even kind of give you any certain instructions because for that, because everyone's different. Your flavor is different. The products and services that you promote and use and tag are different, so it's really good. I'm just going to let you do your thing and understand what creative content is, what unique content is within your niche. But make sure it's not a picture that anybody else can take. Get a little bit creative with the products and services you're going to tag. Okay, so now that you are more cautious and picky about what content you're going to be posting there when you're tagging the brands, make sure that you're tagging the right accounts. And a lot of times the brands have, especially bigger brands, different accounts. One would be for global, another one would be for America, another would be for Europe and so forth. Make sure that you follow all of them and you make sure that you tag the right ones. And you know, I probably should back up a little bit here. You know, pick the brands that actually reply, or at least like, or at least notice those who post their products and services, the content about their products and services on social media. For example, I'm in an electric car industry. That's what my main channel is about. And I know that Elon Musk does reply to customers and people who post content. And there are 2 ways how I do it. First of all, I have posted some videos that are very unique for Tesla, because, you know, he's the CEO of Tesla, and also I picked the right time, right? So whenever Elon Musk tweets, I know that within the next 2 or 3 minutes is when he usually replies. So if I see him tweeting, if I have time, I drop everything that I'm doing, and then I see what kind of post he posted, and then I reply. A lot of times I would reply with something, would you consider? And then I would think of some feature that Tesla might have that would be cool, because he does take requests for features. A lot of times that's the type of content he replies, because he likes when his followers, Tesla drivers and Tesla enthusiasts, give him some advice and pointers what they want to see in their cars. So that type of a content sometimes would get some notice, and he has replied to me several times. And recently, a couple of days ago, he actually reposted one of the videos that I've created for Tesla that was pretty unique, and I thought it was pretty cool and fun. So now I know Elon Musk is a huge name, and I just happen to be in the industry where sometimes you do have to follow and reply to this giant corporations and so forth. But the smaller the companies, the more chances of you, of course, getting the reply. So again, back to that. Now, pick the ones. Most of the time it's going to be corporations, but sometimes people like the CEOs or spokespeople of the company you're talking about. Pick the ones that actually reply and at least like the content, right? If there's a corporation that just basically puts out content and doesn't really follow up on that, there's really no reason to do that. Yes, other people will see you, probably will follow if it's something funny or clever or timely that you post in response to their postings, but most of the time you wanna only communicate and reply and tag those brands that actually do reply. So once you identify those brands, then go ahead and start creating content, whether it's a funny picture or an interesting picture how you use their product, or a clever comment or suggestions for them. Most of the time they may not notice you, but with time they will start noticing you. They might reply again, and a lot of times, don't forget, the way social media platforms work, if an account replied and noticed your comment, it is more likely that your comment is going to be presented to them ahead of others next time they post. So make sure that you're active. Don't give up after first, second, or even 10th time when you post something and the brand does not reply. But when the brand does reply, make sure to follow up right away. Maybe send them a private message saying, hey, thank you so much for replying, or hey, I have another idea for you, and so forth. Now, don't go all the way and just try to get as much of their attention and time as you can. Little baby steps. You want to kind of introduce yourself and say, hey, I've been a fan of your brand for a while, and I'm a social media influencer, and I'm glad you like my content. Would you like me to maybe post a couple of other ones? Would you like to repost? And by the way, if your post is very clever, sometimes brands will reach out to you and say, hey, we really like what you did here. Do you mind if we'll post it and repost it on our social media? And that's a jackpot. This is where you've created a content that the brand liked and they want to repost, because it will also, brands love when the fans of their products and services do something fun with it, because nothing gets more attention than real posts from real people, and that's what they try to push, right? So you are giving them value. Now, make sure to reach out to the brand. Make sure to offer some maybe other ideas or suggestions that you might have. And a lot of times it doesn't hurt to ask them, hey, do you mind if I ask who I'm talking to? And do you mind if we'll take it on email, or can I connect with you on LinkedIn? Definitely make sure to try to make a connection in other media like email, LinkedIn, and other ways of more direct communication. And then, little by little, some of the brands will start reposting your content, and at some point you might say, hey, listen, I had an idea for not just a single piece that I post here and there. I have an idea for a series that I wanted to produce for you. Do you mind getting on a phone call with me, and I will be more than happy to tell you about it. Again, if it's a bigger brand, it's much harder to get a meeting like that, and it takes a lot more time. But if it's a smaller brand, it doesn't really take that much time for them to notice a big fan or a creative fan of their product or service. Again, depending on which industry you're in, sometimes you just have to work with bigger brands. I have to say, unfortunately for me, I ended up in that industry where I do have to deal with bigger brands. But a lot of times, luckily for me, these brands, the car companies, they don't adult very well still on social media. So they're still trying to figure out what's going on. A lot of times I do get noticed because I end up actually tagging them correctly in the right time and with some creative content. And so we do end up making a connection. I literally just made a connection with one of the brands who make electric buses. And not only I made a great connection, I ended up meeting the PR person in Southern California when I visited last week. I got a huge factory tour where they make electric buses. We made a couple of deals. I don't want to really disclose it here on this channel, but we made a couple of deals to work together in the future. I got my own bus and a bus driver to ride around for some of the cool videos and social media content that I posted. So it does work, but please, you have to be creative. You have to tag brands correctly, and you have to understand which brands will pay attention to their followers on social media and which ones will completely ignore. Now, you want to revisit the brands that don't pay attention as much, because all these brands are kind of figuring this out, this whole social media out. So they might hire a new or a brand new social media a person, and that's when they start paying attention to people like you. But mainly concentrate on those who will give you some feedback, some likes, some comments, and reposts. So if anything, make sure to create good content and tag the brands and sometimes people that you want to get attention and create a connection with. I know it's super easy because it doesn't take that much of your time. Obviously, you have to spend some time creating content, but if it's just a comment, even if it's just a like, even if it's just a retweet or repost, you definitely absolutely have to do it. Tell you what, pick 10 or 20 brands or people in your niche that you will continually post and repost and notice and follow on all kinds of social media platforms, and that would be a great start. I would definitely expand it to more, but I would just pick 10 and just start with that. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my power walk that I was in the middle of. This is my daily walk right here. I just wanted to make this video with you guys. Don't forget to download the social income checklist absolutely for free. There's a link in the description of this video. Other than that, my name is Alex Guberman, helping you to monetize your passion.